Hey, what's up? It's your boy Jones, Capo, aka Jomo. I just jumped off the porch with my dude, Dirty Glove Bastard. You heard?
Wow, we got another one.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all. We got our boy Jim Jones pulled up on us, jumping off the porch with us today. What's up, bro?
How you feeling, bro? How you been?
Man, I'm great, bro. Feeling great, man. Can't complain. How about you?
I can't complain.
Man,
Feeling
that's
pretty
what's
good.
up.
Album's out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You've been super active, man.
Yeah.
I mean, since the last time I seen you in New York, bro. I mean, you ain't stopped. Not one bit.
Nah, I ain't got no time to stop right now.
So, man, how do you stay motivated to, like, how, bro? Do you stay so motivated to keep going? You know what I mean? And just your energy is like no other right now. So, you know, what's the motivation?
My motivation is to really stay consistent. And being consistent no matter what goes on, what's thrown at me, and through that consistency, the motivation will happen. There's a lot of things that will motivate me, but the object is to stay consistent and can't stop no matter what.
Yeah, nah, for sure. And you know, you a person who truly leads by example, you know what I mean? And, you know, so many people that you inspire look to you, and you know what I mean? I could even say, you know, from being in New York with you and being there when you was recording, you know, Jomo, and like listening to that, I mean, you put a fire, you know what I'm saying, like within me even to, you know what I mean, just push myself more, and you know what I mean, and I'm sure that other people, you know, just feel the same way just from your energy, because not only are you speaking it, but you living it, you know, and showing that on a daily basis. So that's
You
what's up.
you definitely got to put your best foot forward out here. You got to put the work in, man. The work you put in is what you're gonna get out of it.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. And you've been here in Atlanta, been you know, seeing you getting it in out here. You just had your pop up.
Yeah, we had the pop-up, incredible pop-up today. That was dope. Thanks to everybody that came out, supported, brought hats, brought merch, took pictures. I had a good time. A is always a good time, though.
Yeah, nah, that's what's up. And then I seen you link with Playboy Carti too.
Yeah, shouts to Carti, Big VL, YVL, and Big VL. We locked in. But I know Carti for years and years and years, things like that, man. Just watching him evolve and progress and seeing the success that he has right now is incredible, man. You know what I mean? I like to see that.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's definitely, you know, been on this journey and has been transcending, you know what I'm saying, his
100%.
brand and elevating his brand to the next level.
100%. His success definitely is not an overnight success. He definitely stayed down, put his work in, and if you stayed in, there's nothing else to do but come up.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then I think that he also exemplifies like that fearlessness, you know what I mean, to be able to even switch up his style when, you know, some people may have questioned it and like the direction he was going in and all of that. So just to be able to, you know, do him and you know, continue to push forward, like that's a dope move.
He fine. I mean, you gotta learn how to be comfortable in uncomfortable positions. Hey, yo, whoa, don't say nothing. I know what you're about to say. Cool up. But yeah,
What
man,
up,
you know what I mean?
Dyce? Oh,
He found his wave, you know what I mean?
Yeah, nah, that's what's up, man. At the church steps, now, you know, we've come a long way from, you know, like on our way to church.
Right.
And one thing I could appreciate was that, you know, my man Dr. Ben Chavis, you brought him back on here, had him on the outro. I was wondering, you know, when I heard of the new album title, I was wondering like how much of the theme, even from the first one, that you were going to bring forward. So that was really dope,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I got
From a
Doc-
fan perspective.
Yeah, I got Dr. Ben back and Denise Weeks, and I got Rail back on the outro track. So did a rendition of the first track we did together.
Word. Yeah, no, that's what's up, man. And why is it at the church steps? Like what's, you know what I mean? Like what?
Naturally, I started on my way to church. Me getting at the church steps, feel like that's just the journey of me getting that much closer to God, that much closer with my spirituality, learning a lot more about myself, learning a lot more about my emotions, how to control my anger. There's a lot to deal with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Who knows where being at the church steps going to lead me next? I mean, hopefully it's inside the church and getting even more closer to God.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. And again, like I was saying, man, like the album is so dope, and there's like just a whole like another hunger, you know what I mean, that it sounds like you have from it. I was even, you know, like saying to some partners, like it feel like even like the spirit of Stack Bundles is, you know what I mean, like around you with this project, you know what I mean?
Shout out to Stacks. Stacks is somebody that's missed dearly. Like so many others, I believe his time was cut prematurely before we got to see how great he could be. But I mean, when God needs who he needs, he definitely calls him up. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know he's having a good time.
Nah,
right
for
now.
sure. It's like as much as we want our people, you know, to be with us and to be able to enjoy this with us, it's like sometimes God bring them angels back to help us out in other ways, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would we ever get a Stack Bundles album? Like, is that something that could come?
I really had no control over that. I had some music at Stacks, and through my journeys in life, so much has happened. I had a studio that I had lost, but he had a recording studio he used to do in Queens with a whole bunch of music, and through the course of history, his family wanted to do something that didn't play out the way it was supposed to. But shout out to Stacks, man.
No, for sure. And I saw something where you were saying that, you know, you are looking to like gain more experiences, and, you know, like you said that like you have more goals or some of your goals are to live more, enjoy, you know what I mean, like experiences more than you ever have in the past. Can you speak on that?
I've been in the game so long, and I've dedicated more time in this game than I have actually in my actual life. I got more years in this culture, you know what I mean, than actually living in. I mean, we get to see a lot, and we've been in a lot of places, but we didn't get to actually see anything. Most of the places that I've went to, I got to perform at the venue, maybe see them all, and not understand the history or the culture of where I was at, and that goes for both inside our own country and all over the world and things like that. So where I'm at now, at this point in my life, I want to start living more. I want to start experiencing more, experience different cultures, experiencing different things that the world has to offer, and not just what I've been stuck in assimilation doing.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because people, you know, people on the outside looking in, they wouldn't understand that, because, you know what I mean, it almost would sound like if you haven't even had the experiences of just moving around a little bit, then it's like, well, how could he say that, you know, he hasn't had these experiences? But I know I've been on tour. I was, you know, blessed to go on tour with Future and Drake. Would You Like a Tour? And like hit probably about 40 cities or something like that. But remember, like really only seeing like the arenas, like you said, at the mall, like just a couple little things. So it's like you go back to the city and people might be like, you've been here before, right? But it's like,
you don't get to experience nothing to see anything. Exactly.
Nah, that's what's up, man. I mean, it's super important, bro. Like, and I hear even your messaging in the music, you know, you saying like, you know, like you got to spend this bread, you can't take it with you, you know what I mean? You got to enjoy it, you know? Like,
yeah, we put on this earth to enjoy and live life as long as possibly, you know what I mean?
Yeah, nah, for sure. Can you talk about Act Your Wage?
Act Your Wage? Oh yeah, that's like, you know, people have been, you know, a lot of people have been poking at my age, and I'm in my 40s still, so that's funny to me. Most of these people, it's funny because most of these people's favorite rappers are either my age, older, a little bit younger.
Yeah.
Even people like Drake and Meek and all them, everybody's barking on 40 right now, but it's cool because when I was younger, I remember me consciously poking at Jay's age, so it's kind of funny to me. So. Then they got this thing on, I'm the oldest YN.
Yeah.
It's funny and things like that. So, I mean, but my whole thing is like this, there ain't no age on motion, and money doesn't come with an age limit on it. So the whole age appropriate, I turned it to wage appropriate. So you niggas need to start acting your wage, you heard?
Nah, for sure. And I also think, bro, that a lot of people that's criticizing, you know, that might be people that's not like even in like the physical shape, or even in, you know what I'm saying, like the physical shape, like to even move around and have that motion. So to them, seeing how you moving exhausts them, you know what I'm saying, just off top.
Yeah, man. I got a young spirit, man, and I'm grateful to have. So I never want to be considered an old person. I'm not gonna call myself an old person. I ain't never grown old. You heard?
Yeah.
Nah. Live young forever.
Nah, for sure. And what I can appreciate too, bruh, you know what I'm saying, someone who is now starting to be, you know, called Unc by some of these young cats.
And being old and being grown is two different things. Let's get that straight,
That's
you
right.
heard? So a lot of old niggas that's poop-put, out the game, not in the loop, just have nothing to live for. Haters, everything they talk about is about somebody, never lifting nobody up. That's the way they growing old. I'm a grown-ass man, you heard? But I have a young spirit, you heard? Trust me, I'm very responsible. All my family's taken care of, all my bills is taken care of, you dig? Like, my face is clean. Don't play with me, but I ain't no old nigga, you heard?
Nah, I can dig it. And something that I can appreciate, bruh, you know what I'm saying, is that you don't blacken the beard, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, I live for this, you heard? These my stripes right here, you heard? Like, I put a lot of years in to be able to enjoy my looks and where I'm going with it, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't got time to be blackening my beard or everything that God gave me, I like to keep and leave out with and things like that. Until they show me what I could do to give me extra life, that's the only thing that I'm enhanced. Besides that, I'm cool with what God gave me.
Yeah, no, that's real. Like I got to run and joke with my partners, you know, mess with me about it. And I'm like, yo, man, some of our partners not here to have seen.
100%.
Most
of my partners died way before they got one gray hair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So would you rather an early death or a bunch of gray hairs?
Come on now. Nah, that's real. So you walked out Gervonta Davis at his fight.
Yep, shouts to the champ.
Yeah, man. And I know, like, with so many legendary boxing matches, you know, coming through New York, and I know that you're a fan of boxing yourself. Like, what was that experience like for you, bro?
That was dope, bringing out the champ. Shouts to Tank. That was a moment. That was a moment that a lot of artists look forward to and things like that. You know what I mean? To walk a champ into the arena and the championship fight, you know what I mean? That was a dope experience and shit like that. Shout out to Joel's also, who walked out with me and things like that. And I appreciate you, Tank. Shout out to his whole team and all that for showing all the love that night.
Word. And then I saw the Outside music video where y'all shot some of that, you know what I'm saying? Like
shot the whole video at the fight.
Yeah.
I mean, if anybody, if you know me or know my history, I turn most of my moments into work moments wherever we at. You know what I mean? Like, we already in the light no matter what, so. Yeah. You got to capitalize. You got to capture it while you can.
Nah, that's
and look
real.
at that, on the walkout, end up getting to meet with Jake Paul and shit like that. Shout out to Jake Paul too and shit like that. That was dope. Hopped out, did the video with us, chopped it up, you know what I mean? Like, you know.
Yeah, that Outside joint is like one of my favorites on the Deluxe.
Thank you.
Of the project.
Thank you.
Man, you about dropped the triple disc on us with that Deluxe, ain't it? I was like, damn, this 8-ball lost out here. He done dropped the triple disc on us.
Yeah, I got it.
Man, but can you talk about, because I feel like when the first version of the album dropped, it felt really personal. You were, you know, addressing, you know, some of the, you know, just some of the comments and some of the chatter that had been going on. But then it seemed like the Deluxe was like more party, more like let's, you know what I mean? Like let's have some fun. So can you talk about like the difference between the first and the Deluxe?
I mean, shit, you just broke it down. Like the first one is very personal. I got to answer a lot of questions that people in the media have been talking about, everything that's been going on since the new year, and it was just be able to. I can't go back and forth. I don't know how to do that on these social media platforms and things like that. The best thing I know how to do is make some music. So that was a chance for me to answer all the questions that were asked on the first CD. And some other personal issues, political issues, and things that everybody go through on a daily basis in my neighborhood and yours. A lot of topics that people could relate to and things like that. And then the second album was exactly what you said. The vibe was a little bit different, more ballin', more lit. Definitely a lot of bops for us to use inside the club and the strip club, outside barbecue music. It was dope, man. Shouts to everybody that participated on the album. Especially my artists, shouts to Payso, shouts to King, shouts to Taylor, shouts to Dilla Illa,
Yeah, I was just about to ask you about Dilla Illa and what's the other guy name?
Zeusie's locked up right now. Free Zeusie till it's in reverse. You heard? See you soon, baby boy.
Word. And I see Dyce Payso up here next to you, you know what I'm saying? Dyce, you know, true to the Porch, and been here a couple of times. You know, you guys, you know, rock really, you know, really tight. And, you know, you've been really supportive and, you know what I'm saying, like really helping, you know, like I would say like, you know, help bro navigate like through his career and, you know, everything like that. Can you just speak to y'all relationship and, you know what I mean, just how y'all vibing?
Oh, that's baby bro right there. I mean, I don't have no biological brothers, but I consider him to be one of my young brothers that I wish I had coming up. But it's a great person. Besides a hard worker, definitely a dope musician in so many ways. He could rap, he got harmony. Streets of New York, he valid, face clean. I mean,
Yeah.
but a good brother overall. I mean, I judge the people by their energy and how they carry themselves and where their heart is at and things like that. And he's solid in all of those categories and things like that. You know what I mean? Also got Cash Cow over here. Shout out to Bankhead. Everybody up here is artists that I've been working with for years and doing music. Cash Cow being the new exception around here. Besides that, yeah, we working. We outside working.
Right, and I can dig it. And like I said, man, loyalty is like your middle name. You know what I mean? Like through your career, you know, I've seen that. We've all seen that. You know what I mean? Like, and even almost being loyal, you know, to a fault.
Yeah.
Even with you, you know, being down here, you know, doing the pop up and everything, like you still, you know, push the bird and still, you know what I'm saying,
100%.
wave that flag high.
The bird is everything. That's the brand. The bird ain't personal. You know what I mean? That gotta fly forever, no matter what. The bird helps us all move around here.
Yeah. Now I heard you say on the Joe Budden podcast, you were saying, and talking about your relationship with Cam and even speaking on, you know, like if the brotherhood was, you know what I'm saying, really what it was, you know, even, you know, from the beginning. Now, and having those types of thoughts, like how do you remain you and stay the loyal person that you always have been, even in turn, you know what I mean? Like how do you take those chances and be willing to take those chances when working with, you know, new people, knowing, you know, some of your experiences that you've had with people, you know, that you've worked with forever?
But naturally in life, trust is hard to come by when shit gets crazy. Moving forward in the future, it's hard to trust people in the same factor that you have for other people and things like that. But you can't get stuck on that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm past that right now. You dig? And people around me, I trusted them to do what they trusted me to do and things like that. You know what I mean? And my loyalty starts with me first. I'm loyal to the things I believe in. I'm loyal to what I stand on and things like that. I wasn't loyal to me first. I couldn't be loyal to nobody else. Like I really stand on what I believe in, and that might be not what everybody else believe in, but for my morals and things like that, that's what I stand on. And if it's somebody that I love and I believe in, then that's where my loyalty lies with that. It's the same way I treat myself, but the same way I would treat you and shit like that.
Yeah, nah,
you can ask them. That's how I carry myself amongst all the people that I love and shit like that.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like I move in that same way, and I feel like a lot of us, like I'm even currently dealing with some scenarios where, you know what I mean, people I feel like, you know, I invested a lot in, you know what I mean, or have really, you know what I mean, like held down, you know, like don't, you know, share that same loyalty. And sometimes it's difficult, you know, when you have new people around you that, you know, you want to remain the same person that you are, but it sort of makes you put a wall up. You know, but I've learned, and even chopping it up with my therapist, you know, just have learned that, man, you just can't change like who you are for nobody. And like I've learned to not match energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just to stay who I am.
Yeah, I mean, well, shit. Sometimes sometimes what you gotta do is you gotta match energy in different ways. But I understand what you talk about and shit like that. It's hard because it's the same difference. I've met people in this past year that have done more for me or put on more for me than people that I know for mostly all my life and things like that. So
That's
it's
right.
like you can't block your blessings at the same time because you never know who really has a genuine love for you and that will help you out no matter what and shit like that. You know what I mean? And it's funny out here, man. You never know what you're gonna get when you're dealing with people and even relationships, and don't matter what it is, a female, male, like it's just like that in life. You know what I mean? Like life is filled with disappointment. You got to be ready for it. You know what I mean? People might act one way today, and tomorrow's no guarantee that they'll act the same way and shit like that. You got to be ready for that also. So you know what I mean?
Yeah. Word, no, I can dig it. And you know, as other people are joking and you know sitting behind desks and talking and saying what they're saying, you continuing to show and prove in your work and in you know what I'm saying in the motion that you've been building and developing.
Yeah, I mean, I truly think that in the midst of all of this, most people that know me was expecting me to crash. And a bit of me wanted to crash in the beginning before I actually sat back and thought about everything and where I was heading and what I was doing and the good favor that was going on in my life and things like that. And you know, a lot of people don't like to see that. A lot of people would like to stop that motion. And you know what I mean, I decided to be smarter and be stronger than I ever was when it came to that, and actually helped me. It was very therapeutic actually for me to not react in the manner that I usually would. You know what I mean? So. It was refreshing. It was like it did something for me. I mean, I felt like an evolution inside myself with handling certain situations like that. And like I could tell that I've got that much growner.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Elevating within, like being able to control and contain the emotions.
Yes, and that's a big thing. I mean, like for me, because people know I wear all my emotions on my sleeve and shit like that. And I react to most situations in my life emotionally than I should with a smart mind and things like that. And you know, you don't know till you grow and shit like that. I'm very passionate, and as I got older, I'm very smart. So I had to switch from using my brains and more of my smarts to my emotions and things like that. And I'm doing pretty good at it right now.
Word. I mean, I remember when I came to New York, bro. I was surprised that you actually hit me back that day and was like, yeah, come through the studio, just because it was just so much going on that particular day. So that within that, I saw the growth myself, you know what I mean? Because I really thought that I wasn't going to, you know, see you on that trip. You know?
Yeah, you gotta watch it, man. Sometimes we trip over our own feet, and I've done that so many times.
Like one move can, you know, one snap from some anger or from your emotions can mess up 10 years or whatever worth of work, you know what I mean? So super important that we maintain those emotions. And again, like you being a person that's leading by example, bro, like that right there, you know what I mean? Like I'm sure like your peoples around you is looking like, damn, Brian crashed out. Like, okay, you know what? Like,
no, I got countless amounts of calls, trust me. So many calls. And I appreciate everybody that called me and talked me off the ledge that I wasn't on, because I definitely wasn't jumping. Word. You heard? But I appreciate all the love, because people know my temperament sometimes.
Yeah, no, for sure. Back to the Deluxe album. Another thing that I noticed about it, bro, was that it was almost like it was set up like a whole new project. Like it wasn't, most Deluxes, same track listing, and then like the last 4 songs or however many, you know, it switched, but it was totally different order. Was that all about design? Like how'd you come up with doing it like that? Because it truly felt like a whole new experience listening to it the second time around.
No, I wanted to create a kind of a double CD kind of feeling, and like you said, the personal feelings of this first CD, and then the lit feelings of the second CD and things like that. I want to give people two experiences, you know. And for the most part, I make nigga music for niggas. Not to say it like that, but you know what I mean, like for hustlers, people that's on their grind, shit like that. You know what I mean? I'm not the most female savvy person when it comes to making music, even though I do have a lot of female records. So the second one was like, all right, let me give the female something to listen to, even though this is still music for my niggas and shit like that. You heard?
No, for sure. Because I mean, even the joint Ring with you and Dyce, like that's for sure, you know what I mean? Like something that the females can vibe to.
But it's a straight coke selling song.
Hey, you feel me? Straight up. So, you know, again, bro, with me, you know, talking about just loyalty and discipline, and I feel like, you know, you're like the poster child of that. You know what I mean? Like, how do you get up, do shows, do appearances, hit the gym damn near every day? You know what I mean? Fly to Japan, come back. Like, how are you doing this, bro? Like, how do you, you know, like maintain like this level of energy and you know, like I said, like the motivation?
Like I said, the motivation comes with consistency, but I say my prayers and I let God handle the rest. I truly have been letting that happen. I ain't been trying to put too much on nothing, and I ain't chasing nothing right now. I'm doing what I feel is good for me, and that's what I've been doing. I ain't got no recipe. I couldn't tell you nothing of how I'm doing all these things. It's just the universe is working in my favor right now. When you can do good and you got a good heart, it comes back tremendously, and I believe that this is some of the reward that I'm getting for me staying down for so long.
Right. And how much of your health is wealth?
I mean, being in shape helps me out tremendously in these long days and long hours, of course. But that's the closest thing you're gonna get to the fountain youth is staying in shape. You know what I mean? And making sure your diet is correct and things like that. And you know, these are things that I've been working on for years and stuff like that. And times like this, when it comes to so much grueling travel schedules and things like that, it comes in handy to be in the type of shape I am and things like that. You know?
Yeah. Man, you had Queen Z Flip and the Joe Budden podcast, man. You had them cats looking like deer in headlights when you was talking about that we gonna work out 3-4 times a week.
The niggas was not feeling my energy by doing that, boy.
That'd be like me over here at the office, like, hey man, come on y'all, let's get up and look. Man, cats be looking at me like, bro.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey man, I just love to encourage people getting the jump on life, because that's what really it is about staying in shape, man. So I encourage everybody to go out there, get to the gym, get to moving, walk, run, do something. I mean, keep that blood moving.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then you went to Japan and kicked it with Ye.
Yeah.
And it was dope seeing y'all, you know, like you pulling out like all the belts and all the different, you know, like styles of jeans and things like that, and y'all like going through, you know what I'm saying, like all the different fashion stuff. Like what was that like, you know what I mean? Like just being over there in Japan, what was that experience like, bro?
Oh, Japan period was a dope place, man. I mean, I've been to Japan before that two times. Both times I got there, I didn't get to experience nothing. It was a great trip just to be out there, get some money and things like that. And a little bit I did see. This last trip, I was there for a week and I got to experience a lot. Clubs, restaurants, shopping, everything. And Japan is on, that shit is fire out there. I am not gonna lie, Tokyo got it. I can't wait to go back. But the experience with Ye was next level and shit like that. Above all, what people see, I've come to learn that man is a genius, and everything that he does do is for exactly what he does do, is to put everybody in uproar. But his underlying message is real cool, man, and I hope that he gets to get that across to show people some of the great things that I've seen him doing and starting to accomplish and things like that, you know what I mean? And we all got friends that do things that, you know what I mean? You know, but that don't stop them from being my friends and shit like that, you know what I mean? And above all, what I've seen, he has a tremendous heart. I mean, like, I can't, you know what I mean? I got nothing bad to say about him and shit like that. And come to fashion, he's one of the illest people to ever do fashion, as far as from what he did with his Yeezy brand with the sneakers, to turn it into $1 billion brand in so short of a time, when we have companies like Gucci and Louis Vuitton that took years and years to turn their brand into $1 billion brand, and he's done that. You dig? So with that type of power and that type of smarts when it comes to marketing and shit like that, Lord knows what he could do, I mean, next in fashion and shit like that. So for me to be a fly in the wall, just to be in the room and having conversations about fashion, because I would say that in this culture, in the past 20 years, we are probably the top 2 most influential people in fashion, creating our own aesthetics, and what he's done with actually capitalizing off the commercialism of his fashion is crazy. You know what I mean? That's one thing that I haven't gotten to do yet, is to capitalize off the commercialism of my aesthetic that I've created, that we see that's even more prevalent now inside of hip hop culture, from watching some of our top tier artists dogging our style, and I mean that in the dopest way and shit like that, you know what I mean? So.
Now, and it's gotta be dope to, and motivating to, you know, he's openly has said, you know, that you and, you know what I mean, like the team have motivated him in terms of like his fashion and things like that. I mean, he said that on one of the videos, you know, when you guys were together, just was, you know, paying homage, showing love. So how does that feel to know that you've been able to influence something like that, but then at the same time, how much does that motivate you in knowing that you can do some of those great things and start to take advantage of maybe what you didn't in the past, but, you know, work towards, you know, building more brands and things like that.
I mean, it's definitely great to hear coming from a person like that about what I've done for them in their fashion journey and shit like that. And it helps me with mine also to know that I got to keep creating and shit like that, keep pushing the limits when it comes to the fashion, which is something I have a real passion for and shit like that. You know what I mean? So that whole thing is great. But I got a lot of tricks up my sleeve, less when it comes to fashion and dripping, which I call splashing and shit like that. I ain't done with them yet.
And then you even, you know, transcending the fashion like with your workout gear. You know what I'm saying? Now, bruh, you working out in your jewelry, man. You working out in, you know what I'm saying, in drip.
Shit, I'm about to go to the gym and work out in this shit right now when I finish.
Nah, that's what's up.
I gotta get it, man. Ain't no outfit that's gonna stop me from working out.
Yeah. Would you ever come out with like a gym's drip, you know what I'm saying? Like, or some type of gym drip, you know what I mean? Like,
But nah, yeah, I mean, well, I'm in the midst of a few things, and definitely athletic gear is one of the things that I want to push along with the whole athletic initiative that we have when it comes to fitness and working out. So
yeah. Man, I was chopping it up with Trinidad Jame earlier. And he said to me, man, Jim always got his ears and eyes to the streets. So no matter what media or anybody might say or might be preaching, he got his own religion. And so many other artists, you know, like pay homage and show love. But when you hear things like that, how does that make you feel, knowing that people can appreciate you rolling to the beat of your own drum?
It's dope, because I've been fighting for my freedom for years and years, and you hear things like that, and there's a sense of freedom in that. And walking to your own beat, it's like the ultimate freedom. There's a lot of things that comes with that and shit like that, but Trinidad Jame is an amazing person, artist, creative, expert. Watching him with the Sexy Red this whole past year with her stomping on shit this past year and things like that, and know how he was responsible for a lot of the creative direction in the midst of that, which is pretty dope. Yeah, he on the album also. He's on one of the albums. He hit my phone, was like, yo, why you cut the verse over? And I'm like, yo, bro, it's a method to everything I do. So I did it like that. So now when we go back and do the whole video, people will get the whole record and shit like that. Now you forced to go hit the video so you can hear the whole record and watch the video at the same time and shit like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember when I was listening to Flu Game, and then it just cut off, and I think it went like to Jomo, and then I was like, wait a second, and I went back and listened to it, but it forced me to listen to it again, you know what I mean? I thought I was tripping. And then the Jomo video, speaking of that song, it was really dope too, because you tapped into even some of the, you know, I know you were talking about your guy Wack on the West Coast and all that, so then you even went back. Wacko, my fault, Wacko. So you mentioned him, but then like in the content, in the visual, you even took it back to when y'all was rocking early on.
Yeah. We been doing this for a long time. Wacko a solid dude. I first made that trip to LA back when I was going through all New York and that real Bloods and gang members, that whole thing. I made it a point to go out there because I was in the middle of heavy in it, and I wanted to make sure that we all was on the same page. And looking back at it, it's a lot of ignorance to that, but it was a lot of brilliance in that. As ignorant as we can be, we built the bridge that nobody thought we could build, and there's a lot of positivity in that. And through that, I've done a lot of positive things with my dude Wacko when it comes to us being both gang members and things like that, and to see what he's been doing now as far as his neighborhood, his community, pouring back into it and things like that, especially with the music and helping people get deals and having platinum hits under his belt. There's a lot of things that people don't mention when it comes to us, because they quote unquote think that it's all about violence and negativity when it's not. And I'm watching this man buy up his whole community house by house and things like that. So when we talk about things like buy the block back, he's actually doing that in real time, and these are the things, the positive things that they'll never talk to you about or highlight inside our social media and things like that, because, you know what I mean? So I just want to tip my hat to them and shit like that. But shit, you know what I mean? We built a bridge. It's the positive thing. You heard, so, you know, doing the video in Jomo was a great feeling to go back, especially to see where it all started. He still had the same 6 Deuce lowrider that he had when he did the Certified Gangsters video, which was incredible and shit like that, and riding through the hood, Gonzalez Park and all that. So,
and even when you did Certified Gangsters, you know, years ago, I mean, that was that song and the video and everything. I mean, that like transcended a lot of things, you know, in the culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a great video.
No, for sure.
I had a great time when I did the first one too.
So now you've been like, there's been a topic you was talking about that's been trending online, and it's funny because it's a conversation that I've had a lot and that I can relate to the T. This whole gangs versus fraternity conversation.
Oh God!
But see, for me, bruh, going to college and being recruited by all the fraternities. But then
being recruited, that should be a red flag. That's a trigger word.
Come on.
For gangs, recruited. That's a trigger word. For drug dealers, recruited. That's a trigger word. For fraternities, recruited. Keep going. And
yes,
we're gonna go into it since people want to talk about
Absolutely.
it. How do you get into a fraternity?
So the fraternities, they recruit you. They see you and they say, okay, you know what? Like, we feel like you represent what we down
Then
with.
after that, what happens?
After that, you got to go through a process of
degrading,
being hazed.
Okay, what's hazing?
Hazing is, all right, first you have to learn literature.
All right, fuck all the literature.
All right, but
all right, but let's get to the literature because let's get to the literature
because
in a gang, you gotta learn literature.
Absolutely.
You better know that lingo.
You better know it.
You better know that lingo. So that's 2. Yeah. All right, literature. We got recruits. We got literature. That's 2. Go ahead.
Now you're getting hazed.
Now you're getting hazed. Break down what is hazing?
Beating you.
Is that physical?
That's
they physically beating you?
Yeah.
How do you become a gang member? Huh? You getting jumped in. 31 seconds. They jumping on that ass, you heard?
Absolutely.
But when they talk about fraternities, they turn everything different. Now it's hazing instead of a gang initiation, you heard?
Yeah.
You dig, and now the benefits of it is all pretty much the same thing. You dig? It's just that most of the people inside of fraternities are legal, they're lawyers, they have the other things, and they hand. But it's no different from what.
It's definitely no
you
different.
heard? Each one teach one. I mean, put you on to what I got going on and shit like that. And if you look up the definition of what a fraternity is and a definition of what a gang is, it's pretty much the same definition. You heard? Yeah. But that goes to show you the difference between a hacker and a scammer. These kids inside my neighborhoods are incredibly smart. They are hacking the shit out the system. But because they come from inner city communities that we call ghettos, they call them scammers. Yeah. Now when the white people do it and they get all this Bitcoin money doing the same thing my young niggas is doing, they're hackers.
Right.
You heard?
And
you understand the difference? You heard?
Blue collar crime type
Yeah,
shit.
it's the same difference between a murder and assassination and shit like that. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, this is how the society plays on words and things like that when it don't work in their favor and shit like that. And I don't want to get too deep in it because I don't want people to keep going at me on the media, oh, you're ignorant for saying, but as ignorant as I am, y'all niggas better read.
Well, now, and I want to bring it up, bro, because I come from this perspective of being from Milwaukee, 22nd and Townsend, GD affiliated, go to college, niggas try to recruit you for being in a fraternity. And I was like, man, I would never join this because, first of all, I just don't rock with the motion that none of y'all niggas is on. But then second of all, I'm not gonna get jumped to be in this. And then the one thing I think with fraternities and why people try to accept them, and I'm not feeling this, is that like these black fraternities, they're like Greek, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like basically you're a European, you know what I mean? Like they had to be accepted by like a European, you know what I mean? Like powers that be for these fraternities to then be valid for them to not be considered negative as to where a gang, you know what I'm saying, isn't, you know what I mean, accepted by these European powers that be to then,
But it's not just the gang. The police is a fraternity.
Yeah.
KKK is a fraternity.
Yep.
The Masons is a fraternity. All of these things are pretty much the same type of thing that's going on with the fraternity. But they have different words for them and shit like that. But I don't want to get caught up in all the semantics of it because people try to be too smart.
But I wanted to talk about it, bro, because I know my alpha and my Q partners, whatever, they gonna be on me like Spitty, like bro, why you But you know what I mean. But that was always something in college that when I was getting recruited to be in fraternities, I was turning it down.
And when you go to some of these frat competitions, they moving around like gangs. Them Q dogs is getting active out there. You heard?
Sure.
I don't know if y'all know anything about, but it's an active situation. They ain't moving like fraternities with Poindexter and them and shit like that. They moving with a bop and they ready for all smoke and shit like that. So it's like, but we ain't got to talk about that all day. Shout out to everybody who's involved with something, who got a brotherhood, each one teach one. Hopefully everybody's doing the positive and shit like that and lifting each other up and shit like that. Where we come from, it's hard outside. So you find a brotherhood that you can mix with and felt the love and shit like that, then that, you know what I mean? So you know how it go.
Nah, absolutely. And I feel like people have like the selective, people are selective in what they want to be mad at. It's
100%.
like everybody cheering for Serena Crip walking, at the Super Bowl, but then want to knock somebody else for,
And that's a deep situation, but we ain't. That's not my call to get that deep. But shouts to Serena Crip walking. Shouts to K Dot for the. For the Super Bowl performance and shit like that. Anything that hip hop is involved in, I definitely got to tip my hat to because that's the top of the top that you could get at and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nah, for sure. What are your thoughts on, love and hip hop nowadays? And it seems like so many people are getting rich off of that, but people tend to forget and don't pay you homage and being the person that really started that.
Well, it's very few of them that's actually getting rich. That shit is all smoke and mirrors. A lot of them is pop, actually. I can tell you that firsthand. The gig is up. But when I be saying thank me, I be pretty much laughing about it. I don't really care if nobody thank me or not because I cut ties with that a long time ago. That was something that I gifted to the world and shit like that. Something out of my creative mind that I could do 100 times over and shit like that. At the time, I felt I didn't want to compromise my dignity to be part of a show that I had created and shit like that. Was it the best move? Some people would say no. Some people would say me, myself, it was the best move for me at the time and shit like that, no matter what direction it took me in and shit like that. And I had to learn exactly who I was from that. But looking at what I created to see how far it's gone and what it's done and shit like that for so many people and how many people, families it fed, how many workers, how many cameramen, how many PDs, ADs, DAs, whatever it took to, you dig, and that's all over the country and shit like that. I pat myself on the back a lot, you heard? Yeah. And y'all should think about that shit, because honestly, if I didn't do that, none of y'all niggas would be nowhere near no reality TV at all, period. I mean, it'd just be the Kardashians, you heard?
Wow.
Wholeheartedly, you heard? I want y'all to know that. Like Mona, none of them had nothing to do with that. That was all me. She was just smart enough to know exactly what I had at hand and understand what business that she could have, and she made the move. Smart, you heard? Very smart. Kudos to her. That's why she in the position she at. But I'm in a great position right now. You heard? I'm up like a duck. You heard us floating on water. Stop playing with me.
If there's anything that you could have done differently, in the past or as you were learning the game in your career, is there anything you would have done differently or? Nah,
everything I've done, I feel good to be here. I got this thing, you won't know till you grow, and I'm glad I'm able to grow this much in life and shit like that, to see and look back at everything that I got to experience, because it's all about the journey. If the journey is perfect, then what good is the journey? Right. Might as well skip and just go to the top and shit like that, you dig? Like, right. I'm enjoying the time that I had and the things that I had to do to get where I'm at.
And they say hindsight is 20/20, so it's like, of course, after the fact, we could say, okay, I do X, Y, Z, that, but
everything I did, I wouldn't change. I had a hell of a time doing everything I did. You know what I mean? From my time on earth to everything I can remember, I wouldn't change none of it. The hard times, the good times, none of it.
No, for sure. I mean, moving in a fearless manner, I mean, you've done so many things, and I feel like you've lived about 10 people's lives, over, over the time.
Yeah, I've definitely, I've lived a few lives. For the average man, yeah, I would say I've done a lot. Yeah, I've done some things in life. I got to experience a lot.
Now, I heard you talking about you were at a point where you were trying to sell your catalog and then started finding out, different things,
Yeah.
about your business and things like that. What advice would you give to, hustlers coming up in the game right now and learning the game and doing business? What type of advice would you give people that's coming up?
Don't trust nobody but your lawyer. Don't trust your best friend, don't trust your mother, don't trust nobody who says they got their best interest in it for you at all. Trust your lawyer when it comes to doing business. Make sure that you're on top of your business and shit like that, you dig? As much as I would like to say otherwise, but it's crazy out here. And the only way that you can reassure that you're not getting jerked is making sure you understand that paperwork, and the lawyer's the only one that can make you understand that. And if I took that approach, then I would be cashing on a big check to my masters. But like I said, this road that's taken and shit like that is perfect. I do believe everything is going to happen in time for what God set for me. You heard? So I'm set. That'd just be a cherry on top. It's quicker to get me to that 93. I bow out on you niggas. You heard?
You said you get that 93 and you out of here. We ain't gonna hear from you. No more social media posts, no more nothing.
Deuces.
What's gonna be the first place you gonna hit, bro, when that 93 hit?
The bed. I might sleep for like a week straight.
What? Yo, on your song Genesis, I think my favorite part is the end when you say, "I got them dogs on call, and they can't wait to sick them." It's like my favorite part of that song. I just had to tell you that, bro.
Yeah, I got some trained dogs at my house.
What is it like, stepping into, from being a hustler on one end to then like stepping into legally, like selling or legally, being a part of like the marijuana business and all of that?
Well, the hustle never stops. Being a businessman, you still gotta have that hustle inside of you. Well, it just feels good to be able to make some legal money over something that's been held against us for so many years. I've been locked up numerous times in New York City and around the country for marijuana possession or marijuana consumption and things like that. And it started getting redundant after a while, so to see it being legalized all over the country, damn near 90% of the country right now you can smoke it and shit like that. It's a great feeling and shit like that. I do believe they still got one more step to take it from being on the same level as a heroin and shit like that, but so far we're pretty good for consumption in New York City. Anywhere you could smoke a cigarette, you can smoke weed. Pretty good for me.
Yeah. And Saucy Farms?
Shout out to Saucy. I don't do business with Saucy Farms anymore, but shout out to my dude Alex and shout out to Paul, the great friends of mine. They still have the Saucy business running and moving. Shout out to Big HT High Tolerance. I do business with High Tolerance. Great brand from out in LA and shit like that. I appreciate you, man.
So, and then I know I was talking about loyalty earlier, like, you being, I would say, the poster child of, being just loyal, being down. I mean, you've rocked with the same chick, you know what I'm saying? You've, have always, push hard, for the brand. You do so much work, in the community, like you're committed to, doing community work, like in Harlem, you know what I'm saying? The Go Hard Dance Studio, like you supported, supported that studio to allow kids to.
Yeah, shout out to bro. That was a dope experience. I mean,
like you just always been just giving back and, doing that.
Yeah. My legacy need to read. He gave more than he took, cause I got a lot. I got to take a lot of my time, and giving back is one of my main missions and shit like that. You know what I mean? That's also been a tradition in Harlem and shit like that. As I watch all the hustlers that were making money out there, give back to their community and shit like that. So I'm in a different position in life, so I could do a lot more than they may have been able to do. By the grace of God, and continue to bless me, and I keep being able to bless some people and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Word. Jim, in this season of your life, what would you say is one of the biggest life lessons that you've learned?
One of the biggest life lessons that I learned. Patience. Patience is truly a virtue. I lived in the fast lane for a lot of years with no regard for nothing, no brakes, no blinkers on, no nothing. Just trying to get somewhere way too fast than I should have. And through that journey, a lot of things have happened that teach me a lot of lessons and slow me down in a lot of different ways. And through me being slowed down, it showed me how to learn patience. Especially in this game, when you had the success that I've had, you watch yourself declining. It's almost like a metamorphosis, like I'm standing outside my body and watching me go down, if you understand what I'm saying, as far as my success and shit like that, and from where I once was, and from being blackballed in the game to so many other things that I had to face and shit like that. It just taught me a lot and shit like that, you know what I mean? And it taught me a lot about myself, and even with my loyalty and shit like that, you know what I mean? A lot of that had played a part in it. And then this game is built on discouragement, so it was a lot that I had to deal with. And me eventually learning patience was pretty much the only reason that I'm still here. Is through that patience I was able to persevere, learn to reinvent myself, circumvent all the negativity into positivity, and be able to stand on all 10 toes and everything I believe, no matter what was coming at me. When hate can't fuck with you no more, and the lies don't fuck with you no more, it's not too much that people can do, as you can see right here. You dig? And I'm just trying to still be a living testament to everything I believe in and shit like that, and say my prayers at night, you know what I mean? Right. I ain't perfect, but I am the perfect example of what you could be if you stay down.
Right. That's what's up. That's a gem right there. Is Dyce Payso the first artist that's gonna be releasing a project, from your label?
Yes, for the new label, Dyce was the first artist to release projects. Dyce put out about 3 projects already on the VL label. King Street also. We have a few releases on there. Like I said, besides me having a group of artists that I have, it's called my priority list of artists that I deal with on a daily day basis. I have a distribution label through Vampire Empire, and we distribute 300 plus artists at this time and things like that. You know what I mean? So we do a lot over here. But yeah, Dyce is the captain on the team. That's El Capo right there for the BGVL. Shout out to Mel Murdy, he on the way home too, man. Can't wait to see him and shit like that.
Yeah, for sure. Always hearing you shout out Melly, for sure. And then your son, what has it been like, like you being, blessed to be able to, see him, growing to be, what he's like 21 now, and you know what I mean? Like, a lot of cats don't, either by choice or whatever, aren't around to actually see their kids grow, or, you know what I mean, from the circumstances of, the lifestyle or whatever, or from the streets, haven't been able to see, their kids grow and actually, become men.
Well, I grew up without my pops around for most of my life. I mean, maybe could count the times on my hands that I seen him, from what I can remember. But each time that I seen him, he was like my Superman, like the ultimate superhero, and I always had that love that never faltered. I just loved him even more. So when I got to have a little relationship with him before he passed away and shit like that, it showed me how incredible love could be, no matter how far you separated or how long time goes. Like when I got with him, it felt like I've been with him my whole life and shit like that. But that prompted me to have that feeling of when I do have my kid, and that was like the transition of my father passing and my son being born at the same time and shit like that. It was like, yo, I'll make sure inside his life for every day that my pops couldn't be inside my life. And then I just made sure that no matter what was going on in my life, that above all, I popped up and he'd see my face throughout his journey in school and high school and football games and all that type of shit. So to see him becoming a man now and then being able to be lead by example through not being perfect, but letting him see what it is to be a man and have to be responsible and be accountable and shit like that, you know what I mean? It's pretty dope and shit like that, you know what I mean? Still be inside this game and be considered a legend and shit like that before his eyes, and letting him see the work day in and day out no matter what and shit like that. I refuse to sit down and shit like that. Like, I really feel good to be in this position to show him that, you know what I mean, what it is to be a man.
Yeah. Man, I want to ask you something that I need some advice on, bruh. So, were you able to embrace your pops when you did like meet him later in life, and like, was it something that you were able to like kind of easily, or you know what I mean?
Man, I was excited as shit when they told me that they got in touch with my grandmother, and my grandmother would start telling me stories about, she lived by 7 Boulevard. That's like a shopping area in the Bronx, where Dyce and them is from. And I used to have big posters of Baller and all that, and they'd be walking down, and people would be telling her who that is and shit like that. And somebody put it together that was my grandmother. And this, man, when my mom told me that my pops and shit like that, I was like, I felt like I was a child all over again and shit like that. But he was very sick at the time, so when I got with my pops, he passed away within the same year. But you know, it was a great feeling to be able to get back. So no, it didn't take me no time at all. I was excited. I think it was more shocking for him, the way that my love was overwhelming at the time, than it was for me and shit like that. You dig? But I'm quite sure that he's seen how much I adored that man, no matter how much time we spent away from each other.
Word. And I asked that on a personal tip because I just connected with my pops, who wasn't around, and then come to find out, like, I mean, shit, he was up, you know what I mean? Like, got that paper, you know what I mean? And I got a brother on that side, and me and him grew close, but I'm still kind of stiff on my pops, pause. And for Dyce.
I would say that you gotta love your father unconditionally. You only get one father at the same time. So all that time that was missed is a time that you need to learn more about your pops. And there's a history to who your father was and shit like that. So for me, I didn't get to spend no time with my father, but now I wish that I could meet 1 or 2 friends that could tell me any type of stories of what type of man he was. Because the few stories that I hear about him and that my family tell me is like I'm exactly like who he was and shit like that. You know what I mean? So it's like you got a chance to get that from your father. So you know what I mean? Don't let that time pass without you being able to get that. You owe that to yourself. You know what I mean?
Nah, that's real, bro. Cause I've seen like that. I'm just like him, man. He was a hustler, had a bunch of like businesses, real estate, like just heavy.
And niggas is niggas, so you never know what was on a nigga in the mind, or what a nigga's circumstance was, or what him and your mom Dukes was going through. Like you dig? Sometimes you gotta give niggas a chance to explain on some nigga shit. You grown now, so it's like nigga smoke one. We could talk about that shit because there's some shit you want to learn about, and he might give you the answer you've been looking for the whole time.
We went to a bar actually together, bro, and like was drinking together and shit. But I seen him like hollering at chicks and like having game and shit.
Yeah, nigga, because you're grown now. You're not his son anymore. I mean, you're his son, but it's a different level of what y'all could do together now. You know what I mean? So it's a whole different respect that you have for each other and shit like that. The conversation is different. Like, there were things that I used to do when my son was younger that I would hate for him to know about, but now I can talk to him about everything and shit like that. You know what I mean?
That was kind of a convo that we had. He kept
and he could talk to me about everything. Like, when everything started going on, the first person that texted me was my son. Like, yo, I don't know what's going on, bro, but this is going to be your biggest test. So you going deeper in the rabbit hole, or you excelling in life. That's exactly what he told me, and that was the text. I was like, I got it.
Word.
You know what I mean?
Is your son like interested in music? Is he pursuing
Well, he's not interested in music, but he loves music, and he's dope at music. Any artist, the new artist that I learned about, and since he's 21, since he's been about 10 or 11, he always is ahead of the game since XXXTentacion, I always mess his name up and shit like that, but God bless his soul and shit like that. Like, I remember going to his elementary school and was asking on parents' career day, and I'm asking the kids who that was, and he's always been ahead of the game. So he loves music. Like, even Lucky and V's, before they even got the popularity and the success they have now, he was already on. Like, I'm telling you, these are the next 2. These niggas go hard. Like, I'm telling you, like, so he has a great ear for music, so you know what I mean? And he loves me. Like, last night I hit him like, yo, you know, Pops, I texted him last night like, is you up, nigga? He ain't text back, so today I FaceTime like, you gonna be tight with this one. He like, I said, I did a record with Playboy Carti yesterday. And I said, oh man, I'm mad. He said, I'm going on every trip, man. Enough is enough. I feel like I'm missing shit. Yeah, daddy back lit. Stop playing with me, boy. So that feels good that I can have that relationship with him and shit like that, you know what I mean? And still have emotion and being lit inside this culture and shit like that. That is a very young, inspired game and shit like that, you know what I mean?
Word. No, I can dig it. What would you say is the biggest difference between being independent, like how you were early in your career, and then artists that are independent now?
This is a real independence as the artist. They get, you know what I mean? Like, our independence was, had stipulations to it because we were really signed to an independent label because they were so small. The point system and everything were to our advantage, but it wasn't to our advantage like these independent artists are doing now. Like they collecting all the dollars. They've created a lane since streaming became the only way for you to get music that these record labels wasn't even privy to. They didn't even know how to monetize and get to the dollars that these kids are doing. And it's only now in the past couple of years that they've been catching on to how much money these kids are actually making through streams that never stop ever. They might slow down, but they never stop. So now this is why these kids are catching these $2 million, $3 million checks off of these one hits and shit like that. But because they don't understand that your one hit and your stream is like a Bitcoin, this shit gonna go forever until you sell it to the label. Then they collect it forever, and you just get the buyout and shit like that. You know what I mean? So that their independence is super independent right now, which I love. If you have the work ethic that it takes and the support system, or know what it takes to run a label to push your record, then you're gonna win by all means, and by being consistent, because you might not have a hit overnight, but if you keep working, it's a numbers game and shit like that. That money gonna start coming in.
Oh yeah. You hear people like Sauce Walker talking about it and how crazy he's been going with it. You know what I mean? And what else you working on, bro? Like what else you got coming up?
We got the movie at the Church Steps. The movie. Shouts to all the people that participated. I use a lot of influencers that we all used to. A lot of comedians from off of social media. Shouts to Ray, Mr. Commodore, Ken Starr, Sister Fat Stacy, Trendy Tiff. There's just so many of them that are incredible. I use them because I know that kids nowadays know more about influencers on social media than they know about actors on TV and things like that. So, and it's an incredible movie. It's a musical comedy and drama. It's pretty dope. And we also have a soundtrack to that, so that's like the third installation to the At the Church Step album and shit like that. And the soundtrack is just as fire as the album. Might be even more fire, you heard me?
Oh man, you killing them. You coming with a soundtrack for it?
We bombing, yeah, soundtrack for the movie, 100%, we bombing. You heard?
Nah, that's ill. That's what's up. You got any shout outs you want to give?
Shout outs to VLBG, shout outs to all my real rights locked up and shit like that. Shout outs to Murder, I'll see you when you get home soon. Free Gato, free Hard, free Shotty, you know the rest. Free all my guys until it's in reverse and shit like that, you know what I mean? Free Zeusy, you know. Free and Live, there's so many of my comrades that's on vacation. I'll see you when y'all get back, you heard? Besides that, you already know. Shout out to everybody that's been supporting us from day one. Appreciate everybody picking up the album at the Church Steps and stores now, both the album and Deluxe. Got videos, all type of things out. I'll be coming to a town near you. You heard, pull up on me and shit like that. I love y'all to death.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you pulling up, jumping off the porch with us officially, bro.
I get stupid drippy when you cut my shit. Shitting me? I done gave my look to a whole genre. Gotta be born in you, not worn on you.